let alone those where English is not the first language or even you're communicating from a remote community, for example.
Ms Constant wants funds to make it easier for members to make binding nominations, including sending members reminders to renew them before they lapse.
Nassim Kadem reporting there. Let's have a look at finance. The Australian dollar is lower. It's buying 64.8 US cents. That's AM. Thanks for your company this morning. I'm Sabra Lane. It's 8:30.
From Mount Gambier to Penola, from Millicent to Port Macdonald, Connor Burke on ABC Southeast.
Text on 0467 922 783 or call 1300 476 222.
Good morning, it's 8:30, it's Tuesday, and it's the 26th of August today. How are you? Keeping dry, I hope. There's a bit of a wet start to the day across the region, it seems. Hopefully you've got a bit of a drop. We've had about 4 mil here since we've been on air at Mount Gambier. Currently 6.4 millimetres of rain. That seems to be the most around the region, hovering around 6 at Coonawarra, just below 4 at Cape Jaffa, 2.2 at Keith, 3.2 Narracourt, and 5 for both Padthaway and Roe. Bring you some more weather coming up. Hey, I've just seen though, it's International Dog Appreciation Day. How did I miss that one? Love our dogs, don't we? Do you have a dog? Maybe you're one of those dads who didn't want the dog but now loves it the absolute most, or maybe like someone I know in the office recently, did you get pressured into getting one for the kids? Or have you always had dogs? Maybe you got farm dogs. They're really important to our lives, aren't they? Tell me your dog stories this morning. How many have you got? What's their names? If you just want to give them a shout out because they're a good boy or a good girl, let us know. 1300 476 222 or text us on 0467 922 783. Lots still to come for you this morning. We will talk about food in our regular segment on the chopping block. Apparently fancy bread and butter is a new trend at the minute in your high-end restaurants, which means it will probably filter on down to everywhere you go very soon. Like on its own, not just on the side, like as an actual course, bread and butter. More on that. And on this half an hour, I'll be touching base with the police. Superintendent Trent Cox will be in the studio closer to 10 to 9 this morning. First off, let's get some news headlines with Josh Bryan.
ABC Southeast. News headlines.
Good morning, Connor. A man has been found not guilty of 7 charges of raping a girl when she was aged between 13 and 16 years old in the upper southeast. Eugene Boisvert has more.
The man, who cannot be named for legal reasons, had been found guilty of the same offences in 2 previous trials, but successfully appealed for a retrial, and was found not guilty of the unlawful sexual intercourse charges in the district court. The prosecution alleged the offences occurred between 2000 and 2002, when the man, aged in his 20s, would regularly abuse the girl at the farmhouse they both lived in. Judge Christopher Hanshin found different descriptions of the house created doubt about whether the offences could have occurred. He said previous unfounded allegations reduced the credibility and reliability of the woman's story.
The Kingston accommodation operator says the town's tourism industry has been badly hurt by the algal bloom, despite local waters being unaffected. Kingston is the only southeast town to be included in the state government's Coast is Calling voucher scheme, aimed at encouraging tourists to visit areas impacted by the bloom. Lobster Motel Managing Director Mario Deloya says tourism in the town has also been impacted by the damage to the jetty during winter storms. And the South Australian opposition says it's concerning that nearly 6,000 people are overdue for elective surgery in the state, according to SA Health data. There are 5,972 people overdue for elective surgery, while there's over 24,000 listed as ready for surgery. The Liberals' Ashton Hearn says for many people, elective surgeries will change their lives. She says the pressure's being felt across the system. SA Health Minister Chris Picton says the growing waitlist is due to an increased demand for elective surgeries. And there'll be more news at 9.
Yeah, health stretched across the state, Josh. Not good. But kind of closer to home, those tourism vouchers. I know you did that story earlier. We listened to a bit of it. Interesting that while we had some water issues around in our waters early on, there's been no confirmed algal outbreaks, but it's still having an effect.
Yeah, it was interesting. I sort of made the call to the motel in Kingston to sort of, expecting that there hadn't been too much of a difference. But I guess what we've been hearing the Premier's been pushing the line a lot about the, only 30% of the state or a third of the state's waters are impacted by this algal bloom. So clearly the perception is interstate or overseas that, really all of South Australia is being impacted by this algal bloom, and that's having an impact even in areas, along our coast where we aren't seeing those impacts. So not good considering we're obviously heading out of winter where it's a quiet period anyway, but heading into spring and summer, where we might expect that normally tourism numbers pick up a lot. Hopefully that demand is still there.
Absolutely. Get out and support your coastal communities. And Josh, you are as much of a dog lover as I've ever met in my entire life. Why do you love dogs so much?
They're just good-natured. They're just very loyal, great companions. I think dogs, just in their natural way,